Hey guys, it's me, Mr.250, and welcome back to Umineko. Quick apology for the last 2 days being off. I know I kind of left us at a cliffhanger and then I just kind of didn't upload for 2 days. Sorry about that. It was a little bit of, I wasn't in the best of moods, and I was getting pretty stressed, so I needed to just chill out for like a day or two. But with that, I think we can now continue, and I know how much people were looking forward to this. I was as well. I kind of want to see what terrible things are going to happen to them, especially since they've been given permission to tease them a bit before they take them out. So let's continue. The two furniture in the shadows of the pillars and on the chandelier made their figures explode, and leaving behind only the sound of a hopping beetle knocking against the wall, they pursued their respective targets. Their speed was overwhelming and they easily blocked the other's path of retreat. In front of Rudolph, who had boldly tried to escape to the second floor, Belphegor was already standing in the way. I don't know. I do. He does seem pretty chill right now about the whole situation. Rudolph fired first, but even before that bullet could hit her, Belphegor had already moved behind Rudolph's back. She then raised a purple locust springing out from her arm. However, even before that arm could decapitate Rudolph, unbelievably, Rudolph had swung his gun behind him. The barrel remained pointed behind his back, from the same motion with which he had reloaded the sawed-off gun one-handedly. It was pointing right at Belphegor's chest. Click, ka-chunk. It was the sound of the ejected empty cartridge finally hitting the wall after the reload. In other words, it meant that the next shot was already fully loaded. Without turning around, his gun pointed right at Belphegor's chest. Rudolph grinned. Just like Rudolph. Oh no, no. Oh, I wanted to see how that ended. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know how it ended, but still. Just like Rudolph, Kiryu was also confronting a demon stake in the first floor corridor. You can't save people when you're dead. Probably not the best thing to tell her. The arm Leviathan swung was trailed by a purple locust, It was a magic blade that cut by the power of malice. Kyrie guarded herself against that with her gun. Even though the magic blade should have cut through the metal like butter, the gun, with its extremely high magic resistance power, was able to block the blade as easily as if it were a rolled-up newspaper. Now, that's interesting to note. I was somewhat suspicious of if anti-magic was indeed powerful enough, like anti-magic of guns and bullets was enough to counteract magic. That seems like somewhat evidence right there, doesn't it? Rapidly, 2 times, 3 times. It blocked all of them. And without missing the opening created when that purple locust took a swing upward, Kyrie kicked Leviathan in the stomach with her heel. A very, very anti-magical heel. Almost like she was a lightly dancing feather, Leviathan was knocked away before the demon's staked feet touched the ground again. Kyrie had already perfectly captured Leviathan, who was in midair down the barrel of her gun. Doesn't she look cool? From midair, the 2 women who had spoken to each other of envy as a form of power met each other's gaze. Well, I gotta say, at the very least, they're putting up a heavy resistance to what otherwise would have been swift death. And that in itself is really interesting. Like, I honestly expected them just to get blown away by all these, by all these, the furniture, whatever you want to call them, the demons. And that almost seems to just show that they really are Kinzo's children, that they've inherited his, like, magical ability or something. Or something like that. At the very least, they seem to have inherited the ability to fight magic. If nothing else. Rudolph tumbled down the staircase. He'd been gradually chased down by Belphegor, and had been pushed back into the original hall. Rudolph mercilessly pointed the barrel of his gun at the witch who claimed to have once been his sister. But Belphegor could not permit that, and savagely attacked. She dashed, disappeared, and headed for Rudolph's back. Dodged that shot and again headed for Rudolph's back. And hit herself over and over, instantly moving into Rudolph's blind spot. It was almost like she was a fairy. As she blinked in and out of vision, Belphegor incessantly drove towards Rudolph. At that time, a dull tearing sound was mixed in with Rudolph's cry of anguish. Rudolph's reaction to the dance of the purple locust, which pressed upon him, had finally been too slow, and he had let it lightly cut his flank. A single wound slowed his actions a little. That caused a new wound, which slowed his actions again. Belphegor's dance began to swallow Rudolph whole. Watching Rudolph's body gradually get carved up, His former sister let out a shrill laugh. No, it might have been somewhat effective to try to go for Beatrice. That might have been a little bit more effective. I know it would have been difficult, but still. That seemed like a good move to make. Leviathan could no longer hide her irritation that Kyrie hadn't suffered a single fatal wound. What kind of trust did we sisters have for each other? The sisters are always looking down on each other, trying to thoroughly lambast each other when things already look bad. Leviathan turned herself into a stake, and the speed of her flight as she attacked was proportional to the strength of her envy. The demon stake exposed her true form, leaping about at a terrible speed, leaving a terrible black box around this. The noise from her bouncing off the wall sounded like a machine gun. By now, Kyrie probably couldn't tell whether it was a single stake or a swarm of beetles flying and bouncing around. Leviathan was certain of a greater than 100% chance of victory from the bottom of her heart. Then, Kyrie spoke with an unbelievably calm voice.
ルドルフさんと最初から付き合っていたのは私だったの。アスムさんが白々しく間に入り込んできてちゃっかりと解任したのよ。ルドルフさんは悪くないわ。あの女が体を武器にして立ち回ってルドルフさんに婚約せざるを得ないよう追い詰めたの。アスムさんはバトラ君を身ごもってたわ。そして同じ頃私もまた男の子を身ごもってた。運命的なことに私たちの出産日は共に同じ日だったわ。そしてアスムさんはバトラ君を出産したわ。だけれど私はダメだった。思ったことがあるわ。もしダメだったのがアスムさんで出産したのが私だったならルドルフさんは婚約を解消して私と結婚してくれたかしら。でも私は子供を産めなかった。だからアスムさんが死ぬまで、そしてエンジェを解任するまで私はアスムさんを呪ったわ。嫉妬したわ。アスムさんなんか死んでしまう。そして私と再婚してほしいってずっとずっと嫉妬して呪って、そしてやっとアスムさんが死んだ。私は確信したわ。私には魔法の力があってそれが呪いとなってアスムさんを殺したんだって確信したわ。でも 私の嫉妬の炎は収まらない。内緒よ。バトラ君を見るたびにね、あの女を思い出しちゃう。そしてバトラ君を見るたびにね、もし私の子が生まれていたら同じ年だっただろうなって思ってしまう。私は今でも彼女を嫉妬し苛まれてる。今もこれ未来永劫にね。7日7番姉妹を嫉妬したですって。そうよ。笑わせるなよ小娘が。てめえに男を取られて18年間嫉妬し続ける女の狂気がわかるかよ。
Kyrie is scary. If Leviathan's power had 24 hours times 7 days, or 168 hours of speed, then the power that Kyrie had piled up was 24 hours in 1 day, 365 days in 1 year, and for a whole 18 years. Even without counting leap years, it was a lot of hours. Compared to Leviathan's power and speed, it was more than 938 times greater. So then, even if Leviathan could soar at the speed of sound, to Kyrie's eyes, it only looked like 1/938th of that. So then, yeah, we're gonna do math here, because we're fighting people. They say that a human's walking speed is 4 kilometers per hour, so even if it was less than half of that, this is almost the same speed as a baby crawling on the floor. So then. Did she win? In the time that it took the demon stake to move at the pace so slow that you could count all the bits of dust floating through the air, Kyrie looked at it with pity. She pitied the slowness at which it came towards her. Then, she lazily raised the barrel of her gun, almost as though she was trying to swallow the demon stake up with the gun barrel.
恋も嫉妬もあなた全然足りないの。出直してらっしゃいお嬢ちゃん。
Oh man, Kyrie's practically magical herself. It's good stuff. Yeah, Rudolph's dead though.
先ほどまでの威勢はどこへ？池作りは魚が跳ねてるうちがいいわ。死んだら面白みも何もない。もう十分よ。殺しちゃえば。
そこまで刻まれてよくぞここまで耐えた。もう十分だ。あとは何も考えなくていい。痛みなく生を奪い去って。
待ってくれ。あの人最後にあれが言ってみて。
あれとは何？
西部劇名物のあれだよ。背中を向け合ってから3歩歩いてズドンってやつ。
決闘か。よかろう。
Okay.
それにて根性の未練が尽きるならば受けている。
Rudolph moved his wound-covered body and turned his back to her. Belphegor responded and faced her back to his. Belphegor had a sense of honesty that was uncommon in a witch's furniture.
言っておく。たとえ私の眉間に銃口を突きつけたとしても、私はお前が引き金を引き、私の頭蓋骨に弾丸が至るよりも早く瞬間移動することができる。
そいつはもう骨身に染みてるぜ。お前は銃弾より早い。
それを知りつつ決闘を挑むお前の度胸に敬意を表し付き合うのだ。感謝する。
お前は律儀なやつだな。いい女惚れそうだぜ。
始めるぞ。3歩で良いのだな。まずは1歩、
そして2歩、
3歩だ。これでいいのか？
そして3歩も歩いてまだ気づかねえな。俺の勝ちだ。お嬢。
何？
Rudolph turned around and fired a bullet. However, Belphegor could easily see that through the speed and trajectory of a bullet like that. It should have been no problem at all to dodge it. But a spray of fresh blood flew about. Belphegor had set up an adequate magical defensive barrier. But before an incarnation of anti-magic power such as that bullet, it was completely meaningless.
何やってんのよ。何当たっちゃってんの？
Oh, she lost a lot of color in her face, didn't she? The bullet had hit Belphegor right in the chest. The pain from the lead caused her to grimace, as did the pain from the denial of magic.
許す。俺は卑怯ね。
興ざめだわ。魔女の家具ともあろうものが人間に破れるなんて。恥を知りなさいよ。情けない、みっともない。勝手に這いつくばって死んじゃいな。
やめに。こいつはかわせた。だがかわさなかった。車線上に姉貴がいることに気づいたのさ。だから律儀なこいつはかわさずに受けて姉貴をかばった。
Oh, that was pretty clever, actually. You think somebody would have noticed that, but apparently not. Oh boy. We're gonna learn about pinning in a second? Well, we'll save that for later. How about that?
悪く思う。お前が3歩歩く間にそれに気づけたら、俺は簡単。
あの3歩は私への手心だったか。考えようともしなかった。私はダメだった。
お前はいい女だ。化粧してきっと口説きに行く。
As Belphegor slowly fell over, she lost even the power that kept her in a human form. And she grew small like gold dust and melted into thin air. At that point, Kyrie dashed in. It seemed that she had somehow defeated her pursuer with her own hands. As she pointed the barrel of her gun straight at the witch, she ran up to the wound-covered Rudolph.
大丈夫？今誰か口説いてなかった？
ああ。 いい女だったぜ。もちろんお前のつ悪いチェックメイトだぜ。
The two of them pinned the witch down the barrels of their guns.
情けない家具たちね。人間相手に遅れを取るなんて情けない、くだらない、つまらない。
ベアトリーチェ様、ここは引くべきです。銃弾を防ぐ鉄塊の覚悟、ここにはありません。
Quick, shoot while she's cackling. The witch began to let out a muffled laugh. It surprised not only Rudolph and Kyrie, but Ronove as well. Because in a situation like this with two guns pointed at her, was not one that even a witch could just laugh off. But the witch laughed with pleasure.
そりゃあ先代様の使い古しの家具じゃ無理で当然ね。
私には私にふさわしい新しい家具じゃないとダメよ。
私義理で使ったけど、もともとお古は嫌いなの。
As she said that, she looked down at Belphegor's remains, which had already finished turning into a pile of gold dust with disgust.
何の話をしてるかわからねえぜ。おとなしく両手を上げやがれってんだ。
Then, the witch obediently raised her hands. But instead of raising her hands because a gun was being pointed at her, it looked more like she was a conductor facing an orchestra, waving her conductor's baton.
さあさあおいでなさい。私にふさわしき家具たち。
あんな安っぽい家具じゃなくてもっともっと強力な残酷な
妙な真似はやめて引き金を引くわ。
Just do it anyway. It'd be like in that Indiana Jones movie, whenever she's just flailing around and you just shoot her. In response to the witch's call, the hall was once again buried with the color of gold, as the brilliantly radiant gold butterflies danced. It felt as though they were being sucked into an ocean of gold leaf. Ronobe was shocked at the upsurge in magic power. That was because it far surpassed that of his former master. As their eyes were dazzled amidst the gold flash, a gunshot could be heard. Either Rudolph or Kyrie had fired a round. Then, after the golden flash had subsided, the witch, who was at least cool and composed, could be seen. The bullet? Hadn't Kyrie fired it into her? But the witch had not been hit anywhere on her body. There it is. The bullet had been fastened in midair right in front of the witch's chest.
横断結界
Huh. Okay, so maybe that wouldn't have worked. A barrier which took even the predecessor a significant amount of time of preparation had in an instant. Ronobe's face was still twisted in shock. And the surprise did not stop there. The group of gold butterflies had created two humanoid forms. It was a furniture summoning. Oh, good. Sure. The butterflies peeled off and flew away, and beneath them, furniture in the shape of girls shoved themselves.
シエスタの姉妹兵先代様でもおいそれと呼び出せなかったペンドラゴンの記念兵をいともたやすく
Yeah, Ronobe seems a bit shocked about this.
シエスタ45ここに私にふさわしい家具なんでしょうねあんたたちは。絵本の朗読から同伴デートに隕石撃墜まで幅広くお答えしますよ。にひひ
Okay.
お答えしないと竜王様に怒られます。何卒ご命令を大ベアトリーチェ卿。
ルドルフさん逃げましょう。こいつらはダメだわ。
おう
Kyrie definitely heard warning sirens going off in her head, thanks to the same feeling that had alerted her to the ambush by the Seven Sisters of Purgatory. I don't know if it's going to make any difference, but at the very least these guys are smarter than some of the other people that have just kind of stood around while the witch has been, you know, getting ready to murder them. As the witch elegantly watched them leave, she ordered her new furniture.
命令よ。逃げた二人を殺して、そして死体をここへ持ち帰りなさい。そしたら生き返らせて何度も遊ぶのよ。
The witch's expression was twisted with an evil smile. Even though she feared that expression, Lucifer appeared and spoke.
恐れながら先代様よりそのような残酷行為は慎むようにと。
When the witch stared at her with those terrifying eyes, Lucifer was struck dumb. It was unsatisfying. It was so boring not being able to let her own power and her own cruelty run wild. And this furniture of the predecessor, who was telling her to act with prudence, gloomily bore the brunt of her dissatisfaction.
傲慢のルシファーちゃんじゃない。お久しぶりに元気？また今度一緒に遊びましょうね。にひひひひひ。410死後はダメです。怒られます。大ベアトリーチェ卿のご命令を迅速に遂行を。にひお仕事の時間だね。410了解。
What does that say? Firing guidance system startup. I had to type that out so it made sense in my head.
追撃狙撃戦準備。地形データ収集。射撃用データ収集。
Immense data accumulation?
410へ
Oh,
データ
yeah.
ロック。 410データ受領。標的を捕捉。地形誤差修正。射撃曲線形成。制御点補正完了。45へデータリンク。45データ受領。
What the heck is all this? This is
危険区域確認。
interesting.
あ、そこはダメです。後ろ邪魔だよルシファーちゃん。バックファイアで焼けるよ。にひ。
The Siesta sisters, through their mutual measurements, were able to instantly calculate the terrain inside the mansion and the coordinates of their targets, as well as the firing curve to reach them. Yes, their shots could be guided to draw a curved line. No one would be able to escape it. The precision guidance ability of the Seven Sisters of Purgatory was nothing more than a cheap version of the ability these two held.
45射撃準備完了。弾種選定装填。
As the two of them faced each other, and as though they were both pulling back a bowstring together. There, a dazzling gold arrow was readied.
410に射撃。
After they proclaimed that they were firing together, they released a single arrow. As the curve taken by the gold sparkling snake of light drew a locus, it followed the direction that Rudolph and Kyrie had escaped to in a rapid pursuit. It turned through the corridors, crawled over the floor, chasing them as it drew a beautiful curve. No one could block the guided shots of the Siesta sisters. No one could escape them. And their strength could pierce all physical and magical defenses. It was quite a merciless guided weapon of certain death. However, among mythical class soldiers, it was a weapon used by pretty much everyone. It was very commonplace for them and very extraordinary for those of the everyday world. When he noticed something rapidly chasing them and turned around, Rudolph was shot straight through where his heart was located by the gold snake. It all happened in an instant. After the gold snake pierced Rudolph, it swooped down to the floor, drawing a beautiful spiral, coiled itself around Kyrie's legs, and crawled up to her chest. And just like Rudolph, it shot straight through the location of her heart. And all of that happened in an instant. It pierced Rudolph's and pierced Kyrie. So they died at almost the same time, dropped to their knees at the same time, and fell over at the same time.
何これ。
I liked the Sisters of Purgatory. They had an interesting personality. I don't know what's up with these bunny girls.
圧倒的じゃない。バカバカしいくらいにあっさりね。
I don't know. I think Beto probably would have wrote this off as not being nearly as fun.
私ではこういう家具が向いてるわ。先代様の中古家具とは大違い。さあ、二人の死体をここへ。飽きるまで何度でも蘇らせて、思いつく限りの残虐な殺し方を試してやるの。はあ、魔女がこんなにも楽しいなんて。命を奪うことがこんなにも楽しいなんて。
Stupid laugh. From the time they are born, the most shunned actions for human to take is murder of another human. It's only natural that a human couldn't understand how pleasurable it was to break this taboo. But she was no longer a human. She was a witch. And there were some places that only witches could understand. By now, she had tasted those pleasures and was totally immersed in them. After learning that the contents of the forbidden pot were honey, she could no longer live without it. No, maybe the contents were honey because they were forbidden. Anyway, by killing humans gruesomely, and doing it over and over, she could feel the drug-like pleasure even now. As the witch rolled over laughing, the gold snake which had just been shot returned as though being pulled back. At the tips, two people were pinned and dragged along. The witch's order had been fulfilled. Rudolph and Curie had been killed instantly and their corpses had been carried back.
シエスタ45、410、対ベアトリーチェ卿の次の命令を待ちます。どうかご命令を。赤ん坊のおもりからネトゲのお相手。スペースシャトル撃墜まで何でもお答えしますよ。にひひ。こいつらは第4の番と第5の番の生贄らしいの。だから最後には役立たずの7姉妹。ああ、もう5姉妹か。こいつらを額と胸に刺してえぐらなくちゃならない。でもそれを最後にすればいいんであって、それまでを私がどう遊ぼうと勝手よね。
待て待て待て待て
We'll leave it there and see what Beatrice has to say next time. That was brutal, wasn't it? I mean, like they were actually able to deal with the Sisters of Purgatory, which is honestly not an easy feat, I'd have to say. And then of course these cheaters come along. I bet they probably download hacks and stuff when they play online games, bunch of jerks. Let's see. So we got some new people. Got Siesta 410, Yoni Chimaru, a weapon and a contract with Beatrice. 410 is a kid who personally tends to cause her to speak arrogantly. Her personality. She has a hobby of laughing at people who are serious or not relaxed, which is why she likes 45 and Lucifer. She speaks roughly, but she loves company and easily succumbs to loneliness. She gets depressed if she isn't always being looked after by someone. 410 has excellent capabilities in firing control, and exhibits matchless battle power even at close quarters fighting. And then there was the other one. No, that wasn't it. Where's the other one? Oh, just click on it again. Okay. Siesta 45, Yon Jugo. A weapon in contract with Beatrice, 45 is a very methodical and timid personality, and her persecution complex is somewhat strong. This makes her compensate well for the weakness of 410's rough personality when they work as a pair. Since she cannot stand silence, she sometimes becomes emotionally insecure if she isn't always being ordered by someone. See, that just seems like something that, like, they're so immensely powerful, but at the same time they have these really weird weak points. 45 has excellent capabilities in searching for the enemy and deciding orders. The sister's battle power is multiplied by her support. And I think we had something else pop up somewhere in here, didn't we? Pinning. A pin in chess is a situation where a piece is unable to move because it would expose a more valuable piece otherwise. An absolute pin is when the pinned piece is defending the king, and is therefore impossible to move the pinned piece as it would leave the king in check. Illegal move. That's illegal? Okay. Well, whatever. That was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and hopefully it should be a while before I have to take a long break again. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!